Day 13 of the journey. I'm Deacon Ken and welcome to the Divine Journey. So far so good. I'm holding in there. It's been easier than I thought so far. We're going to do things a little bit differently starting on Tuesday, but for right now, so far so good. I made a decision, an executive decision as it's called. I know I had promised I was going to show you the updated app and the landing page, but I thought it was more important to touch on a couple of things that came to me when I was in prayer earlier today. So as you know, tomorrow is Pentecost Sunday. It's the birthday of the church. It's when the Holy Spirit came down and infused himself into the apostles and disciples, and the church began. So as I was thinking about the Holy Spirit and the times in which I have made the conscious choice, the exercise free will, not to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, not to follow the Holy Spirit's promptings, and how it's affected me. And I look at how the condition I'm in now, the shape that I'm in, how much I weigh, and I ask the question, why did all of that happen? And I ask the question because I think it's important for me to know, as well as for you guys to look at your own lives and see not necessarily anything health-wise, but when things have gone off track, what was the decision that you made in that moment that allowed things to go off course, off path, that God may have been pointing you on? And for me, I always loved food. A lot of people do. I think it's normal. But I fell in love with food as an escape in my late 20s. I lost a business that I'd put about 8 years into developing and was confident and certain that I was making all the right decisions. My faith life wasn't where it needed to be at the time, even though I had converted to Catholicism, as you know, at the age of 21. Was practicing but not growing in my faith. I wasn't turning to God, seeking his direction and the advice of the whisper of the Holy Spirit. I was more focused on what I wanted to do. And when everything came crumbling down around me in a very public way, I sought alone time. I wanted to get away from everybody. I didn't want to hear all the comments. And the one thing that I found that made me feel better in the moment, that never talked back or disappointed me, was food. At the time when it first happened, I was actively working out. I was still in that mindset from my days as an athlete of constantly training, something I've always enjoyed doing. But I lost that love and passion as well. I was more focused on what I was going to do, how I was going to change my life, what direction I was going to go in. And as I was trying to figure all those things out, I found the comfort of food. And I did it to an excess. I went from 220 pounds to 280 pounds. And at the time, we made the decision as a family to move to Denver. And I said, when I move to Denver, I'm going to change everything. I'm going to get healthy and change the way that I eat. And we did. We became vegetarians. We embraced the Colorado lifestyle, and I began riding my bike every morning, and then I started running, something I hated doing as a football player. I was always one of the slower guys when we would do the 2-mile run on Monday at football practice. Give me 50 yards and I was as fast as anybody on the team, but those long runs, I didn't enjoy that at all. And lo and behold, I started out running a mile every morning, and then it was up to 2 miles, and then it was up to 5 miles. So the last year and a half that we lived in Denver, every morning I was up at 6, running 5 miles every morning, come around the top of the street, and we were kind of high up, and you could see the entire Front Range, and that's exactly where that Purple Mountains of Majesty, that portion of the song, you had the sun coming up from the east and the beautiful purple hue over the Front Range of the mountains. I loved it. 5 miles every morning, 2 miles every evening with my kids complaining and screaming that they didn't want to run with me. 10 to 15 miles every Saturday, 2 miles on Sundays. I did that for a year and a half. I lifted weights 5 days a week. I got down to 200 pounds, my high school weight, the best shape I was ever in my life. And all of that blew up when I came back to Illinois, and I hit another rough patch. I stopped running, I stopped working out, went back to my comfort food, and it's been a struggle ever since. And I know because I've fasted, I've dieted, I've worked out, I've done all the things necessary. I prepared really hard last year for the El Camino, which is a whole nother story. But again, here I am. I went through the struggle. I found out what is broken in me regarding my love of food, which is why this 400 days of eating no processed food is not just to clean and prepare the temple of the Holy Spirit, but it's to help me get to the other side. And I tell you this story because I think all of us have something within us that's broken. We all have had a life experience that we need to look at and say, I made this choice, this was the result. I made this choice without the virtue of prudence, without turning to the Holy Spirit, looking for His advice and guidance. I made this choice without thinking of the ramifications in the long term. I never thought about how my love of food was adversely affecting my relationship with my kids, preventing me from being able to do things that I could and should be doing as a healthy and functioning grandfather. I was just focused on pleasing myself. So rule 4 of the 5 rules today is about loving and serving others. So if I want to be able to serve my family correctly, if I want to be able to participate in life, fully engage with my grandkids, running around the yard with them, doing whatever they want to do, if I want to be able to serve as a deacon and not be a sweaty mess because I'm standing for too long distributing communion, I need to focus on those things that are preventing me from being the best that I can be, that is preventing me from being who I'm called to be. And again, this isn't about my obesity. It isn't about what is broken in you or the other things besides my physical body that are broken in me. It's about taking the time to prayerfully look and understand what those things are, and then going to Mary, going to Jesus, turning to St. Joseph, listening for the whisper of the Holy Spirit so we can begin anew, so we can start on a new path with a new commitment, with a direction and a purpose that's going to lead us to being the best disciple we can possibly be. There's other saints. In the video that I mentioned earlier, I was introduced to the Blessed Eurosa Fabrice, a woman from Italy who made great sacrifice of love to serve others. Her home was a place that people would come to because of the peace and the serenity and the holiness that they felt when they were in her home. And she loved to serve others. People came for advice, came for healing, came for meals when they didn't have enough to feed their own family. Her nickname was Mama Rosa. So there's multiple saints who are blessed, people who are venerable, who we can turn to and seek their intercession because they're an example that we can relate to. Father Augustus Tolton, the Venerable Augustus Tolton, who you will hear me talk more about, has been incredibly inspirational in my life. He was an eloquent preacher, and I seek his intercession every time I start a new video, every time I step up to an ambo to give a homily. So, as you make your way through Pentecost Sunday, turn to the Holy Spirit. If you don't already have a prayerful relationship with the Holy Spirit, begin. Today's the day. Now's the time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the tremendous amount of support that you guys have given me. Thank you for subscribing. I almost forgot. I made this offer in my earlier video. I'm going to make the same offer to you. We have a book at our sister company, the Divine Life Press, called Why the Holy Spirit Matters. in honor of the 50th and final day of the Easter season, I will gift the first 50 people who make the request for our book, Why the Holy Spirit Matters. It's a book. It's a good read. It's a short read, but it's packed full of information that you may never have thought about as it relates to developing a relationship with the Holy Spirit. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please continue to like and share, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. You guys have been extremely helpful. I talked to my business manager, Stephanie, today, and we set a new goal of 25,000 subscribers. We're going to get there, but we need your help. Until we meet again, may the peace of Christ be with you today and always.